This side again. 1, 2, 3. Rockstar! This side. 1, 2, 3. Rockstar! Okay, you know what? I think it's a tie. It's a tie. And indeed, rock stars. Strong, kind, caring, smart leaders here. And I'm here to, well, share some insider information with you on how to stay on that path of rock starism and success. And that means, yes, we're going to get a little real here today. But we're also going to have some fun along the way. It's Tuesday. It's time to have fun, right? At least it's not Monday. All right, that means a couple of games. The first game is called Forever and For All to See. It goes like this. Every time you hear me say the word forever, the first one to stand up and yell, and for all to see, gets something out of that prize bag. I want you guys all to look around at these fine people who are standing and who have this really good thing that they're good at, right? Give them a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you guys can sit down. I appreciate it. But let me just tell you this. If we played this game long enough, every one of you would be standing up because you guys are all what? Good at something. Yes, this is the one exception, all right? And we're going to send a very important text right now, all of us. You're going to send this text to yourself. You're going to text yourself, what is your dream right now? What is it you want to see happen in your life? We all have our hopes and dreams. And you need to lock those in, okay? Because those will be your forever and for all to see. You got it. My dream from the time I was 12 years old was this, to work in TV news. I was fascinated by it. So all through high school, all through college, oh, you guys, I studied and studied. Any free moment I had, I spent learning about broadcast journalism. I had no social life. I was pretty much a geek because I was determined, and I knew that I needed every edge I could get, every competitive edge when I graduated to finally get that job in TV news because it's so competitive. So that all paid off. Only a couple months after I graduated from college, I got that first job in TV news. You guys, talk about dreams. My dream was coming to fruition beyond my expectations. And then, Christmas morning, 2003, we're about ready to have a big party at our house. And I noticed there's a message on our answering machine. Yeah, so even after I bleeped out the names of businesses she mentioned and a couple other words she mentioned, even doing that, and even 16 years later, every time I hear this message just standing here, my heart sinks a bit. And for a moment, I hate myself all over again. And even 16 years later, I don't know who left that message, but I knew immediately what she was talking about. She was talking about that night in Key West, Florida, on vacation with my husband. We were there to celebrate a couple things. First of all, our 1-year anniversary, but more importantly, that I was still alive. You see, earlier that year, I'd suffered a life-threatening lung illness. I went from running a marathon to a hospital bed, unable to speak a full sentence without breathing treatments, to open lung surgery in a matter of only a few weeks. And when I asked my lung doctor, am I going to survive? All he could say was, one day at a time, dear. Those were some long days of not knowing if I was going to live, about 3 months worth, before it was finally determined this experimental drug therapy I was on, my only hope, it was working. My lungs were clearing, and heck yeah, I'm going to survive, so heck yeah, we're packing our bags and heading down south to some badly needed healing sunshine. Well, one night when we're there in crazy Key West during spring break, the main strip, and it's just, I'm looking around and thinking, oh, this place is alive. And then I think, so am I. And I turn to my husband and I say, I have a second chance at life. I'm going to live it to the fullest. I'm going to go do things that I would have never done before. Oh, yeah. I did it. I stepped out of character from my goody two-shoes. I cut loose in a way I never imagined I could, and in a way so many other young people do today during spring break in a place like Key West, Florida. And I felt awful immediately afterwards. And so did my husband. So we made a pact. All right, we'll leave it in Key West, learn from it, and never do anything like that again. Now, back then, we had the not-so-smart cell phones, where we were just learning how to take pictures on our cell phones, and we never knew what to do with the pictures on our cell phones. There was no social media, but there was the foundation of it all, which is what? What did you say, MySpace? No. The foundation of all of it is the internet. There were people from major websites there that night in Key West, recording and taking pictures of that whole night of me. And so what that woman on that phone call was telling me was now that these images of me, disgraceful images that could destroy me, are out there forever and for all to see. That choice I made that night in Key West, it cost me my dream job. I was fired. It cost me some friends, and it cost me any sense of self-respect. These pictures and this video, they're going from website to website to website, which means they were doing what back we call now going viral, right? We didn't have that term back then because I was one of the first to show the world how this happens. Going viral. And comments were pouring in online about me, some saying I was stupid, ugly, and had no reason to live. And I started to believe them. And before I know it, I'm getting inundated with requests from media all over the country for interviews with that big question, what were you thinking? And there I find myself sitting on the set of Good Morning America across from my idol, Diane Sawyer, trying to explain that, trying to explain my mindset from that night, trying to explain it to the world. I'm getting invites from Oprah, from Inside Edition, from the O'Reilly Factor. It goes on. And even at our house, I had no place to hide. People would drive by, honking their horns, yelling terrible things out their car windows. I was being bullied in that respect, and online I was being what? Cyberbullied, absolutely. And like so many who endure that today, I wanted to die. And I had a plan on how to make that happen. Luckily, faith, family, and friends to the rescue, rising me up not only to survive, but to find an inner strength then, you guys, to fight back. 3 federal lawsuits later, I got control of my life back again. I was granted copyright ownership to all of those images from Key West, giving me then legal means to stop the dissemination and get as much of it down from the internet as possible. But we all know to some degree, once it's out there in cyberspace, it's out there forever and for all to see. The young lady right behind you, sorry. Yes. So I had to come to terms with that. But as I was fighting my way back, a TV station in Cleveland, Ohio, gave me a second chance at my career. So I got back on the set, and I got back to work. I still work at the CBS affiliate in Cleveland now, just on a freelance basis, because this is my priority. But as I was working my way back up, all I wanted to do was pretend what I call my naked nightmare never happened, to separate myself from it. But then it occurred to me how much this thing is part of me now. It occurred to me how much I learned from it. And it occurred to me how much I don't want something like what happened to me to happen to you, or you, or you, or you, or you, or you, or anyone here. Now, you guys are probably thinking, oh, well, she's talking about some kind of a naked nightmare from Key West. Not going to happen to me, and I sure hope not. But you guys, it can be something as simple as having a meltdown a mom or dad in the grocery store, fighting with your sibling, picking on a classmate, underage drinking, driving recklessly, being rude to a store clerk, fighting with a flight attendant. There's a story recently of a flight attendant, or a high-level woman, executive, who was on a flight, and she was not happy that she had to sit next to a baby. So she stood up and she asked the flight attendant, "Would you please change my seat?" And the flight attendant could not accommodate her. So the woman stood up and had a meltdown on the flight attendant, threatening the flight attendant's job. Someone was recording the whole thing. And that video went viral. So what happened then? Who got fired? The high-level executive got fired. Yes, the flight attendant did not. Here's the thing. It can happen to anybody. No one is immune. Now, we are all going to make mistakes, right? We're all going to do things we regret. We're all going to have those times where we're going to get caught up in the moment or caught up in our emotions like I did. We all make mistakes because we are all what, you guys? We are all human, and it's going to happen. But today, the way things are changing, it is so important for you to realize this. This is the most important statement of my whole presentation. There is so little room for a what was I thinking moment. I know, some of these are kind of funny. Before, pictures like this, you guys, could become attached to you forever and for all to see. One mouse click away. That's some pretty scary stuff, isn't it? But here's the deal. We all have something to protect ourselves from something like this. What is it? What is it that we all have? Just yell it out. Let me hear you. Common sense, certainly. What else? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Friends and family, sure. But there's one thing that's inside of us. What is that? A brain? I hear a brain. Sure, individuality. So all that comes down to that little voice inside your head. Do you guys hear that voice that tells you when you shouldn't do something, right? It's that voice that tells you, don't cross that street, that car is coming too fast. Don't jump in that water. You're not a good swimmer. Literally, you guys, it's a life-saving voice. And it's always there, okay? I guarantee you, if you leave that voice, if you leave the volume where it's supposed to be, and you walk away, you will never, ever regret that. It's about doing the right thing and knowing how important it is, because as soon as you stray from doing the right thing, you risk having that moment stuck to you forever and for all to see. All right, so I break this down into what I call my top 5 digital dangers, all right? The first one is, this myth that there's privacy online or with anything digital. It drives me crazy when I come across a post that someone puts up or a picture that's a little risque, and I mention it to them and they say, "Oh, don't worry about it. I got my privacy settings set on my social media platform, whatever it is. Only my little circle of friends can see this." All right, I've got this story about a girl about 16, 17 years old. We'll call her Cindy. And Cindy wanted to be a veterinarian. That was her dream. That's what she would have texted herself. And she worked so hard through school, and things were lining up for her that she was going to get into the best veterinary college in the country. Her dream was to take care of animals. That's what she wanted. She never strayed. She never did anything she shouldn't have done, okay? Well, this one summer day, her family's having a party at their house, and Cindy and her little sister, they're kind of hanging out, and there's adult beverages there. And Cindy's uncle says, "Hey, Cindy, would you go and grab us a couple of beers? Go to the cooler." So she's like, "Sure," and she does that, and she pops them open, and she's carrying now a couple of bottles of beer open. And her sister looks at her, and she says, "Cindy, look at you carrying those beers. Look at you. You're a bad girl. My gosh, look at that." And Cindy's like, yeah, this is kind of funny because this is so not me. So she asks her little sister, hey, take a picture of me. And she pretends that she's guzzling one of those beers. And she puts it up on her private Facebook page because she wants her friends to see it just to get a kick out of it because it's not her, right? It's a joke. And one of her friends really gets a kick out of it and wanted to share it with a few more people, but she can't because of what? Because of Cindy's privacy Facebook settings. But she can what? Screenshots. Screenshots change the game if we ever had anything that even came close to resembling privacy online. So now that friend screenshots it and shares it with a few more friends and shares it with a few more friends. And now they're sharing it with strangers, and now they're sharing it with the whole school and the whole community. And now when Cindy tries to get into that college of her dreams, the admissions officers, and I promise you this, admissions staff in colleges, they're going to go through your social media and they're going to Google you, and they come across that picture of Cindy. That was supposed to be a joke. It was supposed to be private. And now Cindy, her dream is in jeopardy. Now also, even if you're not sending it out anywhere, understand that what is on your cell phone or what is on your laptop, as soon as someone hacks into it, as soon as you lose your cell phone, as soon as that cell phone is stolen, all that stuff that you thought was private is no longer private because now anybody has it. Anybody has it, all right? There's nothing that even comes close to privacy in our digital world. So anything that you're doing in your digital world, make sure that you don't mind that the whole world would see it. Okay? Digital danger number 2. Pictures and posts we control. Never before have we had such power to sabotage ourselves in a virtual split second. And one of the biggest culprits, you guys, is this. Pretend this is my cell phone. What are we doing? Selfies. Selfies, indeed. Who wants to take a selfie with me? We turn them into selfie parties, right? And there's so many things we want to do. So many things we want to do with our selfies. We can get more selfies after the presentation if you want to. But here's what we need to think about with selfies, okay? And this is really corny, that's why it's yellow. But say it with me. First, happy, healthy, selfie. Let's do it all. 1, 2, 3. Happy, healthy, selfie, okay? I know it's corny, but here's the deal. Of course, with happy. Why put anything else out into the world that's not happy? We have enough stuff out there that's not happy. And I promise you, if you put something out there that's not happy, you will look back and say, oh, I wish I didn't do that, because you don't want to be associated with not happy, okay? That all makes sense, right? But healthy. Now, when it comes to selfies or any pictures or posts you allow yourself to be part of, that you control, because there's so much in the world we can't control either. Here's where you can control it. Take inventory of everything going on in your selfie. So what's going on in the background of your selfie? What kind of signage is back there that maybe you don't want associated with you? Maybe a sleazy bar or maybe a political sign? Got to look at that. What are people doing in your selfie that might be a bad reflection on you? So when we took those selfies, was there anybody like flipping the bird or anything behind us or doing anything like that? Okay, make sure you don't see much of that. For me, I don't want anyone doing any kind of finger gestures, even if it's a peace sign. I'm not comfortable with any finger gestures in my selfies, and I duck right out of them. That's just me. So think about what makes you uncomfortable, what other people are doing in your selfies. And what are you doing that could, well, be misinterpreted, like Cindy and her beer? Pictures are worth what, you guys? 1,000 words. All right, let's take a look at a few pictures. Now, with this first one, I blurred out the face of this person, and I'll tell you why later. But, okay, so when you see this picture, what do you think of? What are some of the words that come to mind when you see this picture? Alcoholic. It's probably the number one thing that comes, right? And then his caption is, first one's almost gone, can't wait for the next one. Now what is this picture saying? It kind of confirms that there's a drinking issue maybe going on, right? It pretty much says, yeah, that he's going to just kind of down that drink real fast, right? Because it's not quite gone yet. So here's the deal. I blurred out the face of this person because he's a friend of mine. And he is not much of a drinker at all, actually. He just went on vacation. He's a really hard worker. And he went on vacation like so many adults do. When they go on vacation, they belly up to the bar and they have an adult beverage. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you start to take a picture of it and you put it out there on social media and then you add a caption like this, now, what about when he's up for a promotion at work, or when he's looking for a new job, or if he's on the dating scene? And again, people are going to research you by what they find on your social media, and they see this. This could be a red flag. Alcohol and pictures do not mix, and I tell adults that too when I speak at the corporate level. There's no reason to keep putting them out there. So this young lady, she's just graduating from college. What are some of the words that come to mind with this one? Smart, successful. She's got the world at her feet, right? Some things like that. Great. This is a happy, healthy selfie. Not technically a selfie, but close. What about this one? She played volleyball in college. Give me some more words. Athletic, sporty. She's a team player, maybe. And then there's this one. This is when she graduated from high school. She's with her grandparents there. What does this picture say to you? She's wholesome? Yeah, I like that. Yeah, she's got values. Now listen, I hire people. This is someone I would certainly consider hiring. I want to know more about her. And so I do a little more research on her. I go a little bit deeper into her Instagram account, and we have pictures like this. That kind of wiped that opportunity out. And this is mild compared to what she had on her Instagram. So she's jeopardizing her own future. She's jeopardizing her own dreams just with simple pictures like this. And listen, again, this is mild. And it may not be fair, but this is the reality. And I am here because I want you guys to understand everything you're putting out there is out there forever and for all to see. The guy up there on the right, you see him? He's not doing it. He said, it happened so fast, and I certainly wouldn't give the Nazi salute. When you're in a situation like that, where cameras are pointing at you, cell phones are pointing at you, and you don't want to be associated with this situation, turn around. Don't let your face be part of a picture like this. All right. You guys know what sexting is, right? Okay. Do you know this? That sexting is illegal for anyone under 18 years old. This means it's illegal for you to take a picture, send a picture, receive a picture, possess a picture of anyone under 18 years old involving any nudity. When they find those pictures, they slap them right up there on that awful website, and good luck ever getting them down. And when they put those pictures up there, they put them up there with your name attached, with your age attached, with where you're from, or anything else about you. Now, some people think, well, here's a trick then. I'll just send a picture involving nudity without my face. Do you understand that every picture you take has a code embedded in it that will track the picture right back to the cell phone that took it? So right back to either you, or if your parents own those cell phones, right back to your parents. So you need to know that there is no such thing as safe sexting. And then this, even if you don't go to jail, even if you don't end up on one of those awful websites, oh, you guys, what about these dreams? If you are all associated with something like this, you are indeed jeopardizing your dreams. Now, I know that there's pressure, and then other people can certainly see these pictures that you trusted this one person with, and it's not even their fault. It's because someone else got into their computer or got into their cell phone. Here's an example of a woman who knows all too well about this. This woman is a teacher in upstate New York. She's about 25 years old, and she's a well-respected, well-known, high-achieving teacher. 3 years ago, she decided she was going to send a nude selfie, sext, to her boyfriend. 3 years ago, nothing. We never heard anything about it. Just a few months ago, it surfaced, and it spread all over the school, all among the staff, all around the community. What happened to this teacher? She got fired. How is she going to get another job now? What school district is going to hire her when they have this selfie of her, this nude selfie, out there forever and for all to see? right? So now her dream is jeopardized. And I know, again, it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair, but this is the world we're living in. You've got to be so careful. So can you imagine your parents being at work and someone coming up and saying, did you see this picture of Sue? And how your parent would feel, how your mother would feel? Just remember, it's no longer just about you. And remember again, when it's out there forever. Oh, you guys are getting much better. Okay, and as far as that goes, pictures and posts we can't control. How about this? Everybody's walking around with their cell phones, and you never know. Are they taking a picture of you? Are they videoing you for some reason? What's going on? You don't ever want to be someone else's social media gold moment. Here's an example. My husband and I were in Nashville recently, and we came across these two young women who were sisters, just of drinking age. They were having a blast. One of them was very drunk, and they stopped right in front of us. And the really drunk one, she starts dancing wildly, lewd gestures, profanity, a heck of a show. And it makes me kind of think about, well, that show that I put on in Key West. So I have a little bit of a panic moment, and I get a hold of the other sister, and I say, you've got your hands full. And before I could say another word, the dancing sister, she stops and she snaps at me and she says, you only live once. Arm in arm, the two go on their way down the sidewalk, as do so many of those cell phones on them. What are people going to do with that video or those pictures they're taking of those young women? Probably. What else? Post them. Post them because maybe they want to say, hey, look at this great time we're having here in Nashville. Things are wild. And what's to prevent that video or those pictures from catching up with those young women down the road? Right? I was 1,400 miles away. It caught up with me. It only took 10 months to catch up with me, and there was no social media back then, so it is a reality. You don't want to be someone else's social media gold moment. You got to use what? What? That little voice inside your head that tells you, oh, maybe I shouldn't be behaving like this, because what if someone is capturing this picture, and now it could ruin my dream? Worth 1,000 words, but your written words can be just as powerful, if not more so. But this is what his words were on Facebook that day. What was supposed to be the most amazing day of my life and career turned into the worst. I will never forgive those responsible. #revenge. Someone says, oh no, I'm so sorry, and he keeps his mindset going out there. He says, no, you're not. You have your perfect little life. What happened to this guy? Indeed, he got fired immediately. #revenge is nothing to fool around with. Words like this, they're nothing to fool around with. I know this guy too, obviously, and he's not going to hurt anybody. And now, it's going on 4 years later, he still can't get a job. And he's all over social media begging for a job because this now is stuck to him forever. And for all to see. And finally, calling out or shaming anybody for anything. You guys, it is bullying. It is, and it's so easy for us when we see someone doing something we want to make fun of or we don't think is right for us to, document it and put it out into the cyber world, and that'll show them. And so I'm running late this one day, and I'm pulling through our local Dunkin' Donuts, and I order, and as I go to turn around the building in the drive-through lane, there's a police cruiser sitting there. It's just sitting there, not going anywhere, and there's no one at the window. So I'm not going to honk at the police officer because I know you don't want to honk at a police officer, right? Using that little voice inside my head. So I think, I'll gently pull around, but I'm a little worried because when I give a dirty look, it looks like this. How bad is this?
Pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I can't trust myself that I won't do that to him. So I don't look at the police officer. I go up to the window, and I say, hey, what's going on with this guy back here? And the woman at the window says, I don't know. His order has been here for 10 minutes. I can't leave the building, and I can't look around there. I can't see from here, so what do you see? So I look in my rearview mirror, and I see this police officer with his head slumped back and his mouth wide open. I get out of my car. I run back to him. His car is running, and his window is down, and then all of a sudden I hear this terrible noise. What does that sound like? I think you can do better than that. That's more like it. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause for his snoring abilities. Yes, we have a police officer sleeping in a running car at a donut shop. Oh my goodness. I gently wake him. He's startled and certainly embarrassed, and he thanks me, and I remind him to remember this next time he pulls me over. And as I'm pulling away, I realize, what if I would have taken a picture of that or recorded that and put it up on social media? What would have happened to that police officer? He would have gotten fired indeed. Then what? It would have probably gone viral. It would have been in the news. I can tell you as a news person, we pay police officers with our tax dollars not to be sitting at a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through with a running car sleeping with the gun on them, okay? What else would have happened to him then? How about his home life if he got fired? And how does he get another job with this? And now how is he going to be anything except for that sleeping police officer at a Dunkin' Donuts? Maybe he's feeling like life is hopeless now. That would have been a case of cyber shaming, cyberbullying, cyber humiliation. We all make mistakes, again, because we're all human. Turns out, the next day I went back and I said, so what was going on with this police officer? He took the wrong cold medicine that made him sleeping. So hopefully he made the right choice after that and he went home and did not continue on his job. But we all make those mistakes. So you've got to remember how what you're doing out there online affects other people and what you might not think of as being bullying or shaming, how it really could end up that way and affect someone else's life for good. All right, I know all of this stuff is very serious, right? And can be very scary. But here's the good news. I am just telling you about the possibilities that can happen. And even though I will tell you right away, even though you delete stuff, it's never quite gone. It's still always out there in some respect forever. And for all to see. However, if you go through, and you guys are probably thinking maybe about some of your social media posts or pictures, maybe you don't want that to be about you forever and for all to see. Go in and delete them, okay? Push them out into cyberspace as far as you can. And while you're doing that, go in and put positive pictures, pictures that will say something about you that you want people to know about you. And here's what you need to always remember. If something like this happens to you, cyber catastrophe, cyberbullying, cyber humiliation, I am living proof. It's survivable. More than survivable, okay? You need to fight through. When I look back at how I survived it, I narrow it down to what I call my PACT. So P stands for what? People, which means when you feel some kind of hurt, humiliation, embarrassment for something that's going on online or even in person, you guys, you need to turn to your people, those you love and you trust, and you need to tell them how you feel. The last thing you want to do is go hide in your bedroom and not tell anybody. A stands for what? Abandon. Abandon, which means shut it down. When you are seeing cruelty come at you on social media, I guarantee you the more you're going through the feed, the more you're looking at this cruelty coming at you, the worse it's going to seem. It's really not that bad, but it's going to be so magnified, and it becomes kind of brainwashing. So close it down. Get off of that social media platform. Get off of that laptop. Get off of that phone. Go do something fun. C stands for what? Connect with professionals like me who know about this stuff. And professionals online. There are anti-bullying websites all over the place. There are people there to help you. I promise you, there's a rise in this movement to end this cyber humiliation and this horrible epidemic of it costing people's lives, okay? There's also connect with your teachers, connect with your counselors, connect with the police officer, connect with the lawyer. There are people out there, connect. And finally, this is my favorite one. I want to hear you guys all say this. This too shall pass. This side, as loud as you can. This too shall pass. I'm going to give you guys another chance. 1, 2, 3. This too shall pass. This side. 1, 2, 3.
This too shall pass.
One more time.
This too shall pass.
Exactly. It shall pass. Just like anything, any challenge, any tough times that you guys deal with through life, and you've been there, you've had tough times, and what happens with those tough times? They pass, right? And you do survive them. Anything like that, it becomes history, but even better. It not just becomes history, now it makes you smarter and stronger, and it gives you something to pull on when you see someone else who's suffering something like this to help them. Okay? Every challenge we go through only makes us better. This too shall pass. And I know you guys get this, and I know you guys have those dreams that you texted to yourself. Hold on to those texts tightly. If you didn't text yourself today, think about what your dream is. Put it into your text so that you're always reminded of it, okay? Because you guys are what? This side, 1, 2, 3. This side, 1, 2, 3.